ideas on industry-related issues, new trends, and practices being followed to enhance business and support each other. It's a perfect place for any hotelier to come together, interact, share, rediscover his own self. It is also useful for sourcing the right vendors. Our vision statement: to be the world's first and best platform for hoteliers to provide happier ways of networking, learning, and exchange of ideas. The core team of HHC is Ashish Gupta. He's a passionate hotelier for about past 20 years. He's the Chief Operating Officer of HHC. Dheeraj Agarwal, he's a strategist and an IT expert and a Chief Technical Officer of HHC. Myself, Tarandeep, I'm a branding and a PR expert and Chief Demonstration Officer for HHC. We are very proud to announce our advisory board, Mr. Himmat Anand and Mr. Girish Pindra. Mr. Girish Pindra has over 35 years of experience in travel, tourism, and hospitality industry, and he's a vice president currently, and he handles operations with the Surya New Delhi, and he's a passionate hotelier. He spent many years with Crown Plaza Group in the past. Mr. Himmat Anand, he's also a very senior hospitality professional. He's been with the corporate world before this till 2007, when he was a Chief Operating Officer of India and South Asia with Kioni Destination Management. He then pursued his decades-old dream and launched the Tree of Life Resorts and Hotels in 2010, which today operates in about 8 locations, and 3 more are scheduled for 2020. We request you to just spare a minute to like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/happyhotelierclub. We would be highly grateful. Just to take you through on our past episodes, we started HHC journey from 28th March, and till date we have done 18 episodes, and this is our 19th episode in a way under the banner HHC. So we have actually touched upon various points which people wanted basically wanted to discuss with the stalwarts of the industry, and we have got the senior panel to give a lot of solutions on the table. If you have missed any of our episodes, you can see the recording links on Facebook or visit our website, or else you can be on YouTube and search for Happy Hotelier Club and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions during the course of the episode, you're requested to put that up in the chat box, and we will be happy to take it up at the right moment. Just to introduce you to HHC LStyle, today happens to be our episode 1. HHC LStyle will in future orchestrate an integrated series of lifestyle experiences, which is going to be blended with storytelling and de-stress. So this happens to be our first episode on teas and more. So the flow of the entire episode would go like this. We would start a brief session with Ghazal Luthra, who's an author and a mindset makeover coach. Ghazal will be taking us through a small de-stress, I would say a session, a very brief session, wherein she will be sharing beautiful hacks to de-stress and set the ground for the further discussion, wherein we will be discussing about modern era tea lounges at hotels, the wellness recipe, immunity building with tea, and much more. So de-stressing with storytelling, conversations blended with all about teas and more. I'm very happy to introduce you to the panel today, including the moderator, Mr. Aman Diwan. Mr. Aman Diwan is a tea technologist. He's an India head TGL company, the Good Life company. He, after completing his IMT Ghaziabad MBA, he went on to pursue international trade and marketing from the University of London. And tea just happened to him by chance 7 years ago, when he didn't even know that the tea industry is so huge and it contributes to the economy of the country. So he went in to take in more qualifications as a tea technologist, and he spent a lot of time in the factories in Kolkata and tea estates in West Bengal with a mission to help educate people, hotels, and even the hospitality schools through tea tasting modules about the history and art of tea and how to have tea, most importantly. In the past 6 years, he has, apart from large corporate collaborations, also helped launch and market a number of luxury, international, and premium tea brands at hotels like Marriott, Accor Group, specifically Fairmont, Hyatt Regency, and many more. He has had a beautiful privilege of actually setting up a TGL high tea setup at Priyanka Chopra Jonas' grand wedding in Jodhpur in December 2018. Continuing with his passion, he has recently started working very closely with smaller tea gardens in India to help launch and market their wellness tea infusions that are now greatly in demand due to the health benefits. So Aman Diwan will be moderating the entire show. I'm also very, very privileged to introduce Ms. Rekha Sareen. So she is a connoisseur in tea, and not just that, I would say she's one of the experts in tea in the country. She has written an award-winning book, and hence she's an award-winning author. Ms. Rekha Sareen has actually researched tea all over the world, including India. So she actually authored a book which is called The Experience of Indian Tea, which has the distinct honor of having an international launch in London, Piccadilly, at the flagship store of Waterstones Europe's leading bookstore chain. The event was graced with the live demonstration by Mr. Stephen Twining, family owner and brand ambassador Twining Tea, and with the presence of Mr. William Jorman. He is the chairman of UK Tea Council. The book is currently listed in the UNESCO World Heritage Library and available in 30 libraries across the world, including Ivy League colleges in the United States, British Library, UK, Germany, Australia, and several countries across the world. We are very privileged to have her today for our episode. Welcome, ma'am. We are also highly privileged to have Chef Michael Swami. He's a pioneer in the art of food media and is a chef, food stylist, food writer, and travel photographer based in Mumbai, India. He's a graduate of the prestigious Le Cordon Bleu, London, and with his team, he has conceptualized and handled major food shows on several channels. He has won numerous accolades in the culinary industry. He's authored The East India Kitchen, Masala Dhaba, Easy Guide to Pairing Indian Food with Wine, and is a several-time Gourmet Award winner for his work. As chief patron and creator of several restaurant brands, he set a benchmark for global cuisines. Pairing tea and using tea as an ingredient in exotic food and desserts is something he really likes to experiment with. His work with Pagdandi safaris, which has and the forest menu to his work in the mountains of Uttarakhand with boutique resorts like the Aroha has created a niche market. He's associated with a few leading hospitality universities. To name a few, Symbiosis is one of them, where he teaches and sets up courses on food media. Welcome, Chef Swami. We also hereby welcome Director of Food and Beverage for Fairmont Hotels, which is a part of Accor Group, Amit Sangwan. Amit is also a stalwart in the industry. He's contributed a lot since he started his career. With more than 17 years of experience and understanding of the national and global luxury market, he's currently holding this strong position at Fairmont Jaipur and is also responsible for their expansion plans in India. And he is a graduate from BSc Hotel and Catering Management from the Institute of Hotel Management, Catering Technology and Applied Nutrition. Prior to joining Fairmont, he was associated with renowned hotels like Pullman, Novotel, and Leela, to name a few. He has won various accolades and appreciation from the industry, such as Best F&B Professional, and also he's won various awards and recognition for his exceptional service, F&B Professional of the Year, finalist for Stellars Asia and South Asia 2019, and many more. I think we'll gain a lot of knowledge from Amit today. Welcome, Amit. I have a very, very special privilege to also introduce Ghazal Luthra to all our participants for the day today. Ghazal is a author. She's a mindset makeover coach. She has high potential to understand people, especially entrepreneurs, business owners, and aspiring leaders who face challenge in their day-to-day lives and work-life situations. She brings very best and highly effective solutions that ensures 100% financial growth, increased productivity, and laser-focused clarity in people's lives. In her total working experience of about 21 years, she's been able to contribute hundreds of people's lives, making them believe that nothing is impossible. If we truly believe we can achieve anything, this is her motto of life, and that's how she treats all her clients on the same level and get them aligned to what their goals and their dreams are. We, in very short while, we'll hear her, and there'll be beautiful takeaways which she will share with us. Over to you, Ghazal. We'll start the episode with Ghazal, and then I would request Aman to take over.
Thank you, Tarandeep. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. Am I audible?
Yes. Can
Thank
we
you so
just
much.
take off the slides and let the focus be on Ghazal, please?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. So before I begin, I would really like to acknowledge each one of you who are present here today, especially on Saturday evening. And I'm sure you all had some work constraints or some priorities, but you guys still made it. So as a team, I would make sure that whatever time you have invested, we give you the best value of it. So as Tarandeep said that I am a mindset makeover coach, and today I'm here to share some very, very exciting tips with you. So there is one important tip which I'm going to share going to make your life very comfortable. So if you are really interested to know what is that tip and how you can use it to make your life super, super comfortable, then please type yes in the chat box. Please type yes. Thank you so much, Akash, Dinesh, Praveen. Thank you so much for giving me such a great energy. All right, guys. So there's a small quiz for all of you. I'm going to start with that. I want to ask you, what is that word? It's a six-letter word, and it is called the terror barrier of our life. The terror barrier of our life. The moment we get into this six-letter word, we feel very uncertain, we feel very worried, we get unhappy, we get dissatisfied. What is that? Okay, Malika, you guessed it right. The word is called stress. This word stress, I guess everybody goes through it, everybody has experienced it. In fact, every day at some point of the time, we are experiencing stress in and out. Is that so? So today I'm going to talk a bit about stress and also going to give you some super magical mind hack how to overcome that. So if you're interested and you want to know about it, then say, I am in, right? I am in. Wow, okay, great, thank you. So do you know something? The world's biggest stress also begins with one thing. How bigger the stress is, it does not matter whether a person has lost 100 crores or even a person has lost his job or is not getting the business, any small thing, or even if a person is not getting food for the day, right? If he's feeling hungry, he's not getting food. Everything begins with one single thing. And do you know what is that one single thing is? That is called thought. So one thought can actually elevate your stress to an extent that we can't even imagine. So for instance, imagine that you are a business person, you are an entrepreneur, and you are basically trying to get a very big deal, right? And you work very hard for it. And eventually, the client says yes, almost yes, it's like 99.99% yes. And the client says, okay, it is fine from our side. And tomorrow, first thing in the morning, we're going to sign the deal or we're going to place the order officially. Now you're very super excited. WhatsApp. And in the WhatsApp, the client has written, we should talk tomorrow about this. So please call and we would like to talk more about it. Tell me, what is the reaction that you have in your mind? First thought, Be honest to yourself. What is the first thought that comes to your mind? Give me some reactions. Come on. What is the first thought the moment the client says, we need to talk more? Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Yes, we get very anxious. We feel that probably there is something which I've missed out. Probably there is something that is not going to go right. I might probably not get the order, and all these kind of thoughts start pondering to our mind. And it is very natural. You know why? Because our mind is programmed towards fear. So it is our genetic inclination to feel fearful about things. So stress is absolutely okay, but it is not okay when it gets out of our hand. So today I'm going to share a simple hack with you, but it is purely magical and it is going to make your life super duper easy. So in our childhood, how many of you have seen a magician or a magical show? And if you remember, the magician used to say this amazing word called abracadabra. And it used to be so mesmerizing the way he used to move his hands, and then sometimes the pigeon used to come out, or sometimes the flowers used to come out, or sometimes the handkerchiefs used to keep coming out, and used to feel so amazed about it, right? We used to feel so surprised about it. So this word called abracadabra, which we must have heard so many times, it literally holds a meaning. It literally has a very important meaning. Do you want to know what exactly the meaning is? This was invented by a Roman sage, and the meaning of this word called abracadabra is I speak as I create. So whenever you are, whatever you are speaking, you are creating that. That is the meaning of this word. It is so powerful, and that is how this word started being used in the magical world by the magicians. But today we can use the same word. In fact, the first word called abra. Abra is going to be used in such a manner in your life from now onwards that you will have a complete control over stress. So are you interested? If you are interested, you say go. If you are interested, say go, and I'll go ahead and I'll tell you what does this abra mean. I'm going to decode the secret, and I'm going to give you that secret that will totally make sure that you are not feeling stressed anymore. And even when you are going to come out of it very, very confidently and very quickly. Great. So here is the secret. Now the word called abra, A-B-R-A, abra. So let's take the first letter, and the first letter A. A states that acknowledge. Whenever you are in a stress, whenever you are in stress, just acknowledge. Acknowledge that, yes, I'm feeling stressful. Yes, I'm feeling sad. Yes, I'm feeling anxious. Because if you don't acknowledge, you are not going to find a solution for that. So never ever say, like many people you must have heard, Bura mat socho, don't talk negative, don't think negative. It is absolutely okay to think negative and acknowledge it that, yes, this is what I'm going through. This is my feeling. Because there is a rule, and it says, whatever you resist is going to persist. So I'm just going to give you a small example. Close your eyes for just few seconds. Close your eyes. And now I don't want you to imagine that you are sitting at Starbucks or some good cafe coffee day or some good coffee shop, and you are having your favorite coffee or tea. Please don't imagine that. You are not supposed to imagine that. How many of you actually imagined that you were sitting at a favorite coffee shop, probably with your favorite friend, and having your favorite flavor of coffee? How many of you actually imagined, right? So the moment we say no to our mind does not understand. So whatever you're going to resist, it is going to persist. So A is for acknowledgement. Please acknowledge that you are going through a stressful situation. Now comes B. And B is very, very important. And B is called breathe. So we must have noticed whenever we are in a stressful situation, we start taking shallow breaths, right? And we are not breathing properly because the entire attention is towards the problem. And we forget to breathe nicely. So you need to take a deep breath inside from your nose. And you need to breathe and acknowledge that, yes, you're feeling stressful. That's very, very important, because when you pay conscious attention to your breathing, your lungs will breathe more and the body will get more oxygen, and that will bring you to a little settled mode. Now comes the third one, and that is called R. R is very important. R is called release. So, of course, if you're breathing, you have to release, but releasing has to be done through your mouth, not through your nose. So, what you're going to do is you're going to breathe, and then you're going to release from your mouth and taking sound out and saying, ah. So come on guys, try this. Take a breath, breathe from your nose and release from your mouth and take out this sound as if you are very relieved, and it goes like this. Ah. Just do it 2-3 times and you will feel a stark difference in your state of mind. Stark difference is the word. Now you have acknowledged. Now you breathe in. And now, of course, you don't want to die, so breathe out. Great. Now what are you going to do? Now the last one. Last one is again A, and it is called alignment. So what are you going to do is, whatever situation you are going through, that is, if you're going through a stressful situation and the kind of voice which is running in your head that says, I'm very stressed. So just look for an opposite statement to that. So opposite to being stressful, what is it? It's like, I am very calm, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to combine your breathing out with this statement in your mind that I am very calm. So I'm just doing it once again with you to repeat, and then I would want everyone to do it together, because you will feel amazing difference when you do it even 3 times whenever you're feeling stressed. So first thing is acknowledging whatever you are feeling, breathing in, and then breathing out with a statement exactly opposite to what you are feeling. So I'm breathing out now. And I'm saying, I'm completely calm. So let's do it together once now. I want everyone to please do it. If you're comfortable, you can put your hand on your chest, close your eyes, and just recognize the feeling that you're going through and take a deep breath. And now just release it through your mouth. And I want to hear the sound, guys. I want to hear that sound. Ah. Fantastic. So one more time. Breathe in with the statement which is bothering you, troubling you. Close your eyes and release it with your mouth with the sound. Ah. And this positive statement. Okay, so give me some reactions on the chat box now. How are you feeling? What does it make you feel? Come on, give me some nice reactions. Better, great, awesome. Okay, thank you, Dheeraj. Dimple says relax. Fantastic. This is, if you must have heard this word called Ramband, this is a Ramband for feeling relaxed in any kind of situation. So whenever you're feeling stressed, just acknowledge, don't resist it. It's going to harm your body. But there is a way to release it, and this is how you are going to release it. And that is why we all must learn to remain in the zone of magical moments, and that's called abracadabras. All right. So whenever you're feeling stressed, just say abracadabra, because whatever we are speaking, we are creating. And whatever is created, that is only because what we are speaking. So stay in that zone. Now, the second hack that I'm sharing with you, it is an instant gratification. Instant. Chutki in few seconds, you're going to change your state of mind and the stress is going to go. And it goes with only one sentence. One sentence. Imagine how simple it is. Just one sentence. How do you remove the stress with just one sentence? How many of you are interested? Are you interested? If you're interested, write one. Just write one. One. And I'm going to tell you now one. Perfect. One. Come on, guys. Let's create some energy. We are here for such an amazing time today. We're going to learn so much from such affluent people who are going to talk so good to make our life better. So let's create some energy and stay in that zone. Forget about your stress, whatever is happening. These next 1.5 hours, we are together and we're going to create some beautiful moments. Amazing. Thank you for saying one. So you want to know what is that one line? That one line that can uplift anybody's mood. And that one line is chai piyoge. And the moment the person says chai piyoge, एंड आप बोलते हो हाँ हाँ चलो चाय पी लेते हैं, कुछ नहीं तो चाय पी लेते हैं, काम नहीं बन रहा तो चाय पी लेते हैं, काम बन गया तो भी चाय पी लेते हैं, कुछ करने को नहीं है तो भी चाय पी लेते हैं. So with this note, I would like to hand over the mic or the stage to Aman. Please welcome Aman, and he is going to give you some amazing and awesome tips about tea. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. Love you all.
Uh, Thank you so much, Ghazal. I think that was really a very refreshing take on de-stressing. And I think I should start my part by saying abracadabra, so
Yeah.
that I'll speak as I create, So, good evening, everyone. So tea as a beverage, steps in here rightly, as it not only de-stresses or brings people together and happiness, but is also a health booster. So can you remove the slide so that because the slide has to come a little later. Thank you. So being the second largest consumed beverage in the world after water, it is indeed significant, and I think it should be. And so just a few basics, like the tea comes from a plant called Camellia sinensis, and which is Chinese origin. And when the Britishers planted seeds in Assam, they had smuggled it from China. They were really surprised to see tea plants or trees growing in Assam by a tribe called Singpho tribe. And this variety is called Camellia sinensis assamica. But when the history of tea, if you go back thousands of years, this was 2737 BC, right from that point, when it was accidentally discovered in China, it has always been used for health, for medicine, for meditation. When it moved from China to Japan, and they used to have those rituals in China. It's called the Gongfu tea ceremony. In Japan, it's called the Chanuyo. There's a complete ritual around it. And there was always this, people knew about it. And in fact, here it kind of got lost in more of trying to taste the masala chai and making it tastier, stronger. But now, of course, the health awareness has begun. And so I'm going to back it with a few facts. It's not just that tea is less calories, so it's good for health. It actually has these compounds called catechins and flavonoids, which are called polyphenols. And polyphenols, very simply, are the ones full of antioxidants. And the nutritionists, especially at the time of COVID, have been talking about tea as like a superfood in our diet, and which is not only, and I don't only mean green teas and oolongs or a matcha tea, but also a black tea that also has very important compounds like theaflavin. But the level of antioxidants does differ from different teas. So, of course, there's the processing is one of the reasons, but the other thing is, the tea growth, the tea cycle is like a human cycle. So there is youth, there is middle age, there is old age. And when I talk about youth, that's the springtime. That's the first flush when the buds come out. And those buds, and when you say one bud and two leaves, you're talking about that first flush when they are plucked, or the imperial pick or the fine pick, is when that bud has the maximum antioxidants. And so that's why when you say, when you talk about white tea has a number of, antioxidants. So the three, my bit on good health is there are three things which affect good health. There's your sleep, there's gut, and mood. And they're all interrelated. And tea is one thing which keeps all these three, in check, because it produces the happy hormones, the dopamine, the serotonin. The serotonin is for the sleep. Dopamine is, you're really charged up going with your family for a holiday. So that kind of a feeling you can get even with having a cup of tea. And then there are these GABA, which calms you. So nowadays we have, of course, tulsi, and in the Indian Ayurveda you have ashwagandha, along with flowers such as lavender, chamomile, which are believed to improve the levels of happy hormones. So can we have those two slides, Mr. Dheeraj? So if you see, this is one of the companies which is doing. Can we have the second slide, second and third, and Yeah, this is another company doing one called Immune Warrior. It's called Tulsi, Amla, Peppermint, Giloy, Fennel. And you know the how you combine the ingredients is also important. You just can't start and concocting it. So turmeric, black peppercorns, all this is there in one loose leaf tea. And these kind of things are really selling off the shelves, and all these specialty teas are also. But one thing do keep in mind that these are not teas. These are tisanes. These are herbal caffeine-free teas. So many times we go to the store and we find, I didn't want to name the brand, but let's say Organic India, Organic, we find Tulsi something tea, but that's not tea. Where are the green tea leaves? Where are the black tea leaves? So in a way, you're missing out on all those compounds that I'm talking about. But having said that, these are also quite good for health. And we will be discussing some recipes of, tea mocktails, tea cocktails, and things in our next masterclass that will be announced very soon. But I would like to, before I call my first guest, Mr. Chef Michael Swami, I want to just, reiterate that why tea is significant is because it's the second largest consumed beverage. India is the second largest producer of tea in the world after China, giving nearly 10 million people the employment here, the livelihood, and there's a great contribution to GDP here. My point is that, and another thing is that 90% of the teas are actually consumed domestically. They are, and only 10 or 15% are exported, where the best teas are going in. So so that is where the potential of market in India is, to where now people are moving from the CTC and the milky teas to the green teas. But my point is that, are we really informed about these Indian tea varietals, which there's green tea, there's white tea in Nilgiri, there's Darjeeling, there's Assam. Are we really, do we really know how to differentiate while purchasing tea? And even about the brewing part. So I'd like to get in Chef Michael Swami here, that I feel even restaurants and, chefs and hotels have a sort of responsibility. And I think they have been doing a good job in informing people about good kind of teas. So how have you been doing that? I just want to also add that I met Chef Michael Swami when he was launching Nueva, the Virat Kohli restaurant that was in Sangam Courtyard. And he was also, he changed the entire menu of Anglo in Khan Market. And also he's connected with a lot of other restaurant projects and hotel management institutes. So I'll give it to you, Chef Michael, to now.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Aman.
Hi.
Absolute pleasure to be here. And so when I first met Aman, we were talking about tea and tea experiences.
Right.
And restaurants are always out to create something new, something to attract customers. And how do you do that? You do that through experiences. It's like you get up in the morning, you brew your water for your tea. While the water is simmering, you're doing other things around the house. It's a very natural, easygoing process that you go through. You have your tea, reading the newspaper, and that's the time when you really associate yourself with tea. You associate yourself with the flavor, sometimes even a brand that you like. And then how do you get that experience to a customer? How do you get that customer to sit in your restaurant and not just have, say, an Irani chai and he's out of there in 5 minutes? No, you want him there to sit down, to have the whole high tea experience. And this is when I was doing a project at Jim's Jungle Retreat in Corbett, where a lot of the guests and tourists were foreigners. And they loved the whole experience of a good high tea, tea from a good kettle, good chinaware, damask napkins, those crocheted linen. All this adds to the experience. It adds to the experience of tea. And then I went a step further. I said, instead of just serving tea, why don't I cook with tea? I came across a recipe from Assam where they have a tea salad. It is where the tea leaves are washed twice in hot water and then crushed like a pesto with walnuts, some herbs, salt, pepper. It's a very flavorsome pesto that you can make. I took tea leaves like an oolong tea or a nice smoky tea, and I poached it with some spices and poured chicken in it. I got the whole flavor of tea and a nice smoky flavor into my dish as well.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like giving a guest a unique experience over something which most people will think that tea is mundane or tea is just something you have as a beverage. No, you make it into an experience for a guest.
Great. Yeah, great. And also, Michael, I remember one of your interviews where you said that, there is an emotional connect one needs to have when you're preparing either a dish or brewing tea or a beverage. So what do you have to say to that? And also, you can maybe name a few dishes or desserts that you've created with tea. Yeah.
We always say that my grandmother cooks better or my mother cooked this dish better whenever you go to a restaurant, right? There's a reason behind that. Because when your grandmother or your mother is cooking at home, they do it with patience, they do it with love. There's no anger or resentment or with your working buddies happening. They're cooking the food dish with peace, love, and harmony. So you bring that same atmosphere into your kitchen where your chefs and your cooks are cooking in a harmonious manner. When I was working in a Michelin star restaurant abroad, you knew your job, you knew what you had to do. There was no yelling and screaming across the kitchen, things like that. Each person knew his function. And that's why Michelin star food is Michelin star food, because a lot of care, a lot of patience is taken into it. So it's the same thing with bringing that same mood, that same passion into when you're making tea. That's how it tastes different. It tastes, that's all about it. It's the passion.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. And be cool and make it. Yeah. So I remember we used to, during the sessions, really talk about so much about there's so much role of water. There's the role of the temperature, the brewing time, how you accompany it with, all those things are there. So my question to you is that like nowadays a lot of online sales are going up for do it at home tea recipes, right?
Right.
And be it fruity tisans, breathe some immunity tea, and people want to do it. Although the tea sales, what I was looking at the data for during the lockdown period, masala chai, yes, I agree, but a lot of other specialty teas sales have gone up. Of course, the supplies are not being matched to the demand because of the warehouse problems and social distancing. But how can you suggest some recipe of a wellness tea that we can prepare at home, and we can just jot it down as Michael speaks, if you do have a recipe?
Yes, so I got one, very shortened version. In a pan, take 5 cups of water. Take the peel of a yellow lemon, a 2-inch piece of ginger and cut it fine. Take a small piece of fresh turmeric and cut that into, cut it or grate it if you like. Add in a pinch of cayenne pepper, a little bit of black pepper, the juice of a lemon, a teaspoon of coconut oil, because coconut oil adds to a kind of a richness to it. And or you can add avocado oil. And you never boil tea, you always let it simmer. So let this whole blend of your, this whole blend just simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then strain it and serve it. Now, this is a healthy version of a tea, okay? I remember that when we were kids, we used to love orange pekoe, going to the Phillips counter. We used to, the smell of the tea in the shops and all that. And that's when you play around with different tea flavors. And so coming back to, you need to know the flavor of the tea when you're creating a recipe. Okay, it's something you create an affinity with it. You create an affinity with the flavor.
And I think that's why people are getting to know so much about tea, because they come back to these experiences and then they remember. And I remember you saying that when you are doing a course, there's a starter, there's a main course, you just push in a little drink there, a yerba mate or a matcha or something which they want to try, a new tea. And then they always come back to you and say, hey, what did you serve me? That was really nice. So that is how I think the awareness kind of goes on. So that's great. So are you brewing some tea today? Do you have something with you?
So I did a simple lemon tea with some lemongrass and some ginger.
Okay. You said orange pico, and we were talking about misconceptions about tea. Many people used to say, does orange pico have an orange zesty flavor? And so, there are so many myths but we're all learning, right? So tea bags or loose leaf teas for you? What's your comment?
Loose leaf, always loose leaf.
So you go the entire mile and brew it and everything, or?
Yes, you need to go the entire mile to get into the whole passion of it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, like now you have these, for everyone's benefit, you have these silken pyramid bags, which are larger. They allow the, leaf to infuse. There's more space, and you can put, you have broken leaves and which can be there, and for the tea bag experience. And, and it's always very easy. What I do is I have this like a French press here, and I just press it here, and it's very simple. I just put the thing here, and these are not expensive. They are available on Amazon, etc. So I wanted to ask you one more thing. So let's say, many people ask me that for different times of the day, which tea do you suggest? So can you start with, let's say, morning and lunch, or evening and a post-dinner, or a noon tea?
Yeah, so I, for one, don't drink milk for several reasons. One is, I think that no one should drink milk after a certain age. But,
right.
But milk tea, sometimes a lot of people love it. But I don't like that boiled version of tea. And I think a masala chai in the morning is best because it kind of perks you up, it gets you going. Yeah. And in the afternoons, I would suggest a green tea or a white tea for lunch or for 11s and tiffins. Everyone loves tiffin. Okay.
Right.
And in the evenings, like between 5 to 7, a tisans go well with your with the mood of the day. You're just getting home or you're just leaving work. A quick tisan is great. And post dinner, because chamomile tends to make me sleepy. I don't know about others, but chamomile or lavender tea. Okay. Yeah. And I love with Chinese food when you're having jasmine tea.
Yes.
So yeah. So each culture has So each culture also has their own versions of teas, which goes with the food. You have yerba mate from South America. You have jasmine tea from China and Japan. In India, we have our masala chai.
So what about English breakfast in the morning?
I love English breakfast in the morning. Okay. Yeah.
And it's got that wonderful mix of the Indian Assam, the Kenyan black tea, and the Sri Lankan tea, the Ceylon tea, I think, the citrus flavor of that. Yeah. So I think, that's fine. So just one thing before I leave is, I'm just getting more inquisitive, is how many cups of tea do you suggest one can actually, like, if you go by this, you can have 6 cups. So do you suggest that, or would it be, causing some acidity or some kind of a thing? And then I'll add my own input to it.
Add your own. See, as long as the tea is light, it's like water. It's almost like water. You can have it through the day, at least 10 cups a day. I think I go through about 6 to 10 cups a day because it's light. It's not that heavy, strong tea, which is boiled and reboiled and everything.
Right.
So,
yeah. Wonderful. So you can have 6 to 7 cups if it's, So yeah, so another thing I wanted to add here is like, the caffeine, tea also has caffeine. So we are allowed about, I think, 400 mg of caffeine for a daily intake. That's what the doctor would say. And a green tea would have about 30 to 40. So you don't want to excess that caffeine. So you can have 6 or 7 cups. And I think the black tea has about 50 or 60, whereas coffee has about 100 mg. So that's the thing. And one thing more about tea is that it has theanine, which reacts with make you not addicted to it, to make you not, really affect your heart rate, etc. It calms you down along with the thing. The theanine has that, and theanine is one compound which you can all look up. Is only found in tea and one other some species of mushroom. So we really need to be aware that tea is a wonderful. That's why when you say mindfulness, it comes from these kind of compounds. So thank you so much, Michael, and I really am looking forward to doing more projects with you, and all the best to your students too at the hospitality colleges. Yeah, right. So going further in our wellness journey now, so as you know, Indian teas have come of age, and there's orthodox and CTC teas being harvested every year in different regions, and every region has their own speciality and flavor profile. Whether it's a Darjeeling flush or a Assam or Nilgiris or Kangra. So there's one such person here, our second panelist, who has traversed and researched across tea regions and tea cultures in India. And her name is Rekha Sareen. She's a reputed journalist and author of famous award-winning book, namely Chai. I do fortunately have a copy here. You can all see it. That's the book. That's the World Kettle. I don't know what I would like to call it. And that's it's more than a coffee table book, actually. So it's, and this book earned for India the International Gourmand Award for the world's best tea book, awarded to India. And yeah, so there's another slide, Mr. Dheeraj, where she's getting the award. No? Yes. So Chai wins Gourmand Award. And here you have Edward Cointreau, who's from the Cointreau, that liqueur, Cointreau family. He has actually said that thank you for bringing this book to the world. That's the last line. So that was a great job, but a lot of research went into it. And that's, so I would also like to show this. This is Stephen Twinings, the head of Twinings, the one who started it in India. And he also supported her during the book launch. So my question to you is, Rekha ji, that, we were talking about that, these different regions have different, you may remove the slides now. Yeah, thank you. So, we were talking about that the different regions have different speciality, and the origin, almost like wine, the terroir, the climate, the elevation, the way of processing plays a very important role. So how was your experience traveling to different regions and, and in different estates? So would you like to now share something? Yeah.
Thank you, Aman. It was absolutely fantastic. Why? Because India is such a vast country. The only kind of its, the tea regions in India, there's so many varieties. And this is the only country which has such a variation, like in Sri Lanka, tea grows around Kandy and in the hills. Then Kenya, which is another large tea producer, it's in the highlands. But here in India, we have tea all over, starting from Assam in the east. Then we go to Darjeeling, West Bengal, then Kangra Valley further up towards the western Himalayas. Then down in the south, we have the Nilgiris, the Uti, and the Western Ghats, Kerala, Idukki, Munnar, and not to forget the small bouquet of tea regions like the Terai and Duars and the northeastern states and small pockets in Himachal. So there's a huge variation. And this gives rise to an infinite variety of tea in India, because tea is very human and it responds to its environment. And we have so many different environments and different ecosystems, different topography, different geography, and to which tea, this very pliable thing, tea, like a human, responds, you know. So we can say almost India is nature's super mall of teas.
Yeah.
That's how.
And you had also said that Assam is the biggest constituent of, you know, in the
Each
world.
area is so different. That Assam example is totally flat, and the flatlands of Assam can stretch into hectares. The tea lands in Assam, it is the motherland of tea, as you already mentioned. That the tribes were making tea. Who knows, before they even discovered tea in China. But when the pioneers, British pioneers, looked for tea elsewhere after the Opium Wars, they looked at Assam on a tip-off from the tribes. So
Right.
when the Assam is jungle, and they fell down vast tracts of land. So tea gardens are flat, which came as a new thing for me, because in our common mind, commonly we think it's on slopes, because we've seen far too many pictures and
Right.
images growing on top. But this is totally flat, and it runs into hectares and hectares. And it's the largest contiguous tea growing region in the world. And we get 51% of our tea from Assam. And there are a whopping 650,000 tea estates in Assam. Now here
Wow.
again, Aman, you mentioned that there is the indigenous variety grows here, because this is a jungle land, and this is the Camellia Assam. The leaf is larger and stronger, and you get strong tea out of that. A lot of tea, just talked about English breakfast, is strong tea. A lot of the blends come from Assam. And
Right.
a lot of processing here, because it's in large quantity, is this crush tear curl method, CTC method, which means it's cut through rotor veins like they cut tobacco. But few people appreciate that there is a very good Assam orthodox also, that is the long leaf rolled tea, you know.
Right.
So this is more valued in the Western world. I saw a lot of it goes displayed
Yeah.
in parades in London, and you know, the Western world understands the orthodox tea.
Right.
But then
Yeah.
you move to Darjeeling, it's totally different. Now here, it is such a small area compared to Assam, whereas Assam is giving 51% of tea, Darjeeling only 1% of our production.
And 87 estates, right?
Absolutely, 87. But how famous is
Yeah.
Darjeeling? Isn't
Yeah.
it? Everybody knows about Darjeeling. Why? Because Darjeeling is unique. It's an enigma, you know, because
Right.
nobody can pinpoint why the tea is so good here. And this is Camellia sinensis, the China variety. Because
Right.
there's a story of a British botanist, Robert Fortune, a Scotsman who went to
Right.
China and seeds and planted there in Darjeeling. Flourished very well in the cool climate, but in Assam,
Correct.
no, it is the indigenous. So there's the change, although
So,
they're neighbors.
yeah.
And in Darjeeling, the tea, when they took a plant from Darjeeling and planted it to another hilly region in, say, the hills in the Himachal, it lost its quality. And conversely, when they brought the tea, a plant from another region, and put it into Darjeeling, it gained the Darjeeling quality. So
Right.
it is a mystery. And like in my book, I've written, it's called Divine Boon of Darjeeling.
Right.
It is divine. You know, there's nobody
Yeah.
can fathom. So that's
Right.
how tea respond.
And that's why it has the GI status. And when they say the taste of muscatel grape, right? Darjeeling has that. And I think muscatel has come from wine, because there is a muscatel wine in Italy. So are they trying to say that it's got a slight grapey flavor, and how does it happen? Is it the soil? Is it the...
Yes. There's a reason, because this muscatel flavor only comes in 2 weeks, in the second flush, which is between mid-April, May, June, till early
Correct.
June.
Correct.
And 2 weeks, there's an aphid fly which comes out, you know.
Right.
They come to feed on the bushes. And what they do is they suck the moisture out of the bushes, of the leaf, and the
Yeah.
leaf turns turgid and little purplish. And because they've sucked out the moisture,
It becomes
gets
better.
special flavor,
Special flavor.
which
Yeah.
is something like gravy.
So they let the insects feed on them. Yes, I know.
It is precious to me.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
So it's very valued. Very.
Great. Tell us something about, you were talking about, it was almost like going back into time. You were staying there and, I think they were very hospitable, although, South India is very different from there. But how was your experience when you were researching, and what kind of challenges did you face?
Yeah.
You were talking about the professionalism there or something. So how?
That's right. Going back into time, I'll tell you, we lived in the tea estates, and even all of us, anybody can go. They have homestays in certain estates, and certain bungalows are very beautiful, like Chamong and Glenburn and Darjeeling. And this is the perfect time to go because COVID, this is time to be in nature, to enjoy, the open space, the freshest of tea from the garden. And
Right.
it's still following those old English traditions. For instance, we were served water with the net doilies on the glass, like they did.
Right.
And caramel custard for dessert comes in automatically, It's like that.
British, okay.
Very British.
So in one of your lines in your book, you said we must acknowledge the hand that plucks the tea. So all these women pluckers or whatever. So, and you were talking about how just a small amount is. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah. That's when we went to the gardens. It was a revelation, and to learn that. You see, when they pluck the leaf, they have weighing stations. They weigh the leaf immediately because it starts fermenting very quickly. So when they weigh the station, the weight of the leaf is so light that a plucker has to pluck 2,000 to 4,000 stems of green leaf for the weight to be 1 kilo of leaf.
Oh my God.
And of that 1 kilo, what do we get? Just 215 grams of tea, which is
Oh my
a normal.
God, 100 cups of, yeah.
What does it mean? That our cup of tea here, this is a muscatel, which is got 40 to 60 stems, depending on the leaf. If it's a Assam, obviously it will be a little less because it's bigger. And 40 to 60 stems in that 1 teaspoon of tea. That's how these pluckers work. And under hot, my co-author photographer Rajan Kapoor has taken photographs of planters laborers running in with raincoats over their heads. Because the flush, that is the season for plucking in Assam and Darjeeling, comes only between mid-March to mid-October. Then in winter, there's dormancy. So activity is so high. And in May, activity is highest. So they work round the clock. The workers, the pluckers, and trees. There's no sleeping at night. So there's so much that goes into it, which was the challenge for me. You asked about challenge, was on the processes of tea making. And I understood that I was all taken in by the history and the culture and everything around tea. But I realized that there's a very professional industry and there's a huge workforce and there's a lot of learning on that aspect, for which I met a lot of planters, traders, tea shops, managing directors of large companies, even the dhabawala, because the dhabawala also, which is...
You have mentioned all these in your book also, So tell me something, Rekha ji, really, Darjeeling's 87 estates, right? 75% is organic teas, right? Now here, if you see the average consumer, when they hear organic tea, they say, oh yeah, I'm going to only go for organic tea, especially at the time of COVID. This is all the... Do you think that organic tea, of course the certification is there, I mean, for me, I don't know, I will give you my comments later. But what do you think? Does the taste really, is it very superior tea? Is it a high quality tea? Or is it organic because no fertilizers are being used? And the other certifications. So what do you have to say to that?
It is. It's organic, certainly, because no chemicals are being used. And it's got the certification that we must make sure of, see the label, see a good certification. But It's all up in the head because tea is.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Doesn't taste any better or any more.
Absolutely. I've had organic tea without a taste, organic green tea. Absolutely. And
it's absolutely like any tea. In fact, even green tea, there's so much talk about it, but the Tea Board of India told me that it has only 4% more value than black tea, where the polyphenols and catechins are concerned, because simply because the fermentation is a little less in green tea, because they don't allow it, they're keeping it green. For that reason. Otherwise, yellow oolong anyway, provided you don't dunk it with milk and a whole lot of sugar, and that's it. It's just
so I will so that means you like your tea without milk, right? Your black tea.
Yes, absolutely.
Always. Okay. So tell me something, just one last question or a second last question. What do you think about the new age teas? The orthodox, the blends, let's say a smoked black tea, a strawberry and cream tea. There's this hibiscus and rose and hibiscus tea. There is the rose glow. There's a fruity flavor tea in green sencha. And I think you were mentioning something about apple strudel tea, which sounds really good. So what do you think? Are these any good? Are these, because the sales right now are going up for this, and people are really on an experimental stage and trying out all these, and they are good for health. So what do you have to say?
Yeah, this is a very good development. Certainly, it's very nice to evolve with the times and to keep tea alive, and more than alive. Actually, it's such a good development. I see the younger generation coming in for tea. Tea parlors, tea lounges opening everywhere, and these new flavors are interesting. So why not go with the times, go with the tide, because this is the time to, and especially in COVID times, these medicinal tisanes and flavors which are coming out, excellent. And as you said, I was very surprised when I went to Hamburg to Mesmer Tea Lounge. I picked up teas, yes, cheesecake flavored, apple flavored, apple strudel, and chocolate meringue flavored.
Wow.
It was, and they're very interesting. But are not used with tea leaves. Then the flavored teas, there are many which places like Sancha and all, Aapki Pasand actually use dried herbs, dried flowers in the blending process with the tea leaf. Those are also very good. But these, like Chef Michael also said, and I agree with him, that in between teas, and you can have them all day, but your leaf tea is leaf tea, or maybe I'm the old school. I don't know, but leaf
there
tea
was
good.
Yeah, thank you. So before we go up, how do you store teas in you yourself? I'm not talking about from the company's point of view, but what is the best way to store teas, and why?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why I asked you this was, I had a young person, she asked me, she said, I had this, there were jars of tea at Godrej Nature's Basket, and you could, there was something for blood pressure, something for headache, something for slimming, etc. And they're huge jars, and they're all in glass, right? Now, the biggest rule is heat, light, humidity are the enemies of tea, right? So I said, first thing, I said, don't ask me about which tea is good. Stop buying from that, because the moment you buy it from a glass jar tea, your tea is stale, right? So how do you store teas in the kitchen?
Yes, it does degenerate with light. You have to put them in a canister, and most importantly, airtight, because tea, moisture is the enemy of tea, and the end product of tea has only 2 to 3% moisture after the processing, the withering, rolling, fermentation, drying, all that moisture in a plant, that's the whole process about. And you're ruining if you're adding, if you're exposing it to moisture. And then second, there shouldn't be any smells, like spices. You don't put your tea
near them. Yeah. I think one of the people here, Malika, has also written in a chat not to keep it near. Thanks, Malika. So I need your comment. Tea brings togetherness. What do you have to say?
Of course. Hasn't it all brought us together on this Zoom chat today? And Who has ever argued or quarreled over a cup of tea? You know, arguments cool down under, the very act of tea being served, you watch them serving you tea, and that itself kind of relaxes you. And
Yeah.
of course, the actual scientific, I spoken to an eminent tea scientist who told me also, they raise your endorphin levels, the tea does, and it calms you down. So, and it's definitely a time to bond actually, and if not bond, at least to cool down if you're arguing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
really.
if you're still not calm, you can use the abracadabra rule and do that.
Solve that will
Like,
happen.
well, that's a good tip actually for today.
Yeah.
So great, thank you so much, Rekha ji, and we really love your book too. And thanks for making it here and sharing. I know you have lots of stories, and apart from your book and a lot of research you've done, we'll certainly sit down today post lockdown. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So my next guest, we were talking about new age companies. A lot of these new companies, like, if I may name, there's TGL, there's TWG, there's T-Box, Vadham. They have all done a good job in making, the consumer really familiar about these new kind of teas. Whether it's rooibos, oolong, or a white tea, or black tea blend. But the most, I think, credit should go to fine dinings and hotels who really create these experiences, and people want to come back for more. So I'd like to invite Mr. Amit Sangwan. He is the F&B director for the Fairmont Accor Group. Amit, are you there? I hope you're there.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hi,
Thanks.
good evening.
Thanks,
Is your video on, Amit?
Yes, I can see you all.
So how can we can't see you talking? We can only see Rekha ji, which is good.
Oh, very good evening. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, there you are.
Right.
Wow. And I love these the wall thing. It's not your home; it's the hotel, right?
No, I'm working today. I'm in office. Yes.
Oh,
it's one of the tea lounge. I thought this is apt place to.
Right. Right.
Also, yes.
And I love that leather box you have at the back with the teas.
Right.
That's the TGL, yeah, and the thing. So what do you have to say? Why is tea significant for hotels? And to, you've been creating so many, they've been creating experiences. So what do you have to say about it?
Right. So, Aman, I won't say this is there from ages or from the time the 5 stars has evolved. This gradually is getting more in limelight probably nowadays, or maybe in times to come it will gonna grow further, the tea culture, because the simplest example to this is we read enough of wines and coffees and spirits probably in our IHM days or during our graduation. We never been taught about what tea is, and being the largest producer and the second largest consumed beverage, I think we somehow unintentionally took this beverage as for granted, that okay, it's there, it's a normal thing, and we've been drinking tea from ages, so what's new about it?
Right.
But over the year, being in the hospitality, being in the same fraternity, I think I have observed it personally that this is quite crucial when it comes to F&B or hotels overall, right? A cup of tea can break a deal, it can set a mood of yours.
Correct.
It all depends on a cup of tea, whether how your day will gonna be, right? So this is critical. Like, we do these dissections when it comes to hotel operations. So obviously, and I'm sure most of us will agree to the fact that the majority or the maximum focus given to any operation in any of the hotel is the breakfast operations, because yes, that's the most critical part. So if we further dissect our breakfast operation, then that's the first cup of tea or coffee what the customer receive, right? That's the most important. So this is how critical this beverage for us is. And I would be happy to share that now the perception, the way we select, the way we curate our menus has changed a lot. So it's no more that tea selection will gonna be routed only through procurement head or through finance. Now it's a proper panel tasting, which usually hotels get arranged, right? They create their own blends. then they do blind tastings, then they select particular brand, and then that get added to your menu.
Yeah.
So a lot of back-end efforts also goes while selecting your labels. So,
Yeah.
so I'm saying,
and
yes.
also I think Amit, I think that training your own F&B team is very important,
Right.
about teas, about the origin of teas, about because guests can be fussy and they can say,
Yes.
where does this tea come from and why, especially when you're suggesting to pair it with something or accompany it with.
Right.
So
product knowledge, obviously, all the time, product knowledge is of utmost importance. I mean, one has to be aware of what they are serving, how they are serving. So that's the most critical part. But yes, the biggest, and I keep sharing this, one of the small example with my team here, right? There's a term called service recovery. I'm sure we all must have heard about it, right?
Correct.
So, so in hospitality, sometimes you need to do that intentionally and unintentionally.
Right.
So there was a corporate company who I don't want to name hotel, but yes, they visited us. They had some beverages. They went back, right? After 2-3 months of following up on certain things, I checked with them. I went to their office along with my sales colleague. What happened, boss? I mean, I was in an assumption that this business will get fixed and it has to be there with us. And the statement which he gave me just entire experience in one line was, no, your team has served me certain tea that day and it was not up to the mark the way I was expecting it from a decent hotel. So if that was not correct, I have and I'm not too comfortable doing an event here. On the other hand, I have seen businesses getting fixed also on just a cup of tea, that, okay, if this is the service, if this is the temperature, and if this is your consistency, I have no doubt about this hotel and I'm going to have my event here. So this is quite interesting and intimate and personalized beverage, I would say, altogether.
Yeah, yeah. So, Amit, what are tell me 2 favorite teas of yours?
So I usually, in the morning hours, I usually have a cup of Darjeeling tea, unless I'm sitting with somebody and I have to have something else. That's a different story. And in evening, I just finished a cup of Earl Grey. This sometimes, gives me some relaxing feel that yes, my day is about to get over. And so these 2 are my favorite ones.
So some of my friends say that they love Earl Grey with the milk and honey. Do you think that's a good idea?
This is something similar to having your single malt whiskey with soda and Coke, probably.
I was just kidding. Yes. I think it's a horrible idea because the amount of acidity you get with the bergamot citrus flavor and the milk, it will react.
Yeah. So it should be just simple brewed cup of hot water.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So just one last question, Amit, is Fairmont is really known for its weddings, etc. Right. And I think teas do play an important role there. So do you have, like we had done it for Priyanka Chopra's at Umaid Bhavan, Jodhpur, do you just get the CTC tea to serve the guests because it's a bulk thing, or do you also have that, but you also have the specialty teas and a tea setup?
Right. So we do have, so while discussing all 3 major meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, in any of the events, social event, as you mentioned, right? High tea also get discussed because that's the main event in any of the social weddings or events, right? Because either there is some ceremony attached to it, or that's the break or relaxing time between 2 meal periods. So high tea for us is of utmost importance. And there, obviously, in terms of offering, you need to discuss what tea, which variants. So right now, the trend is not only restricted to your masala chais or the ready-made teas, right? People do ask for variations. What else? What else? Can we have some flower teas? No, I love only light teas. Lemon, honey, these are basic condiments, need to be there along with the teas, right? Somebody want to try it with hot milk or maybe a dash of cold milk. So high tea now are more elaborated. The desserts, my chef keep experimenting desserts along with the teas. So it becomes altogether a complete meal in itself.
Yeah. Also, Amit, you have been a wine expert, mixologist earlier also. What do you think of tea cocktails? Because now it's the new trend, and of course it's going to be covered in our masterclass that will be announced. But what do you suggest? What do you think? Is it a good idea? What is the base of a tea cocktail which is good, which you can, which can be made easily?
So like these Long Island iced tea usually get made with either a Darjeeling tea or some light teas.
Okay.
So that is all-time favorite. We have been making as a bartender, we have been making it for a while now.
Right, right.
But some experiments can be done with a few of the flower teas also, because can be used as a garnish along with the tea decoction. Both can be used.
Right.
And
What about and vodka and gin?
Yes, gin
Gin.
can be very well blended with the teas.
Yes.
So the best cocktails which comes out with teas are, I mean, as I thought, is with gins. So
Yeah,
that is a good combination.
Great. You have a very nice tea trolley there. Can we have a look at it? Is it
I am
visible?
not too sure. Yeah, it was lying
Okay. There. Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's very nice. So all these things add to the experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a dedicated tea lounge at first floor of ours, and
Right.
this is the most premium floor, and this is the usual setup here remains. So nothing to do with any sort of marketing to your brand in specific. But yes,
Thank you so much.
That's a regular.
Thank you for your time, Amit, and it's great, and I love the ambience you have there, and we'll try and create that at our homes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question from the audience, and this question should go to Chef Michael Swami. This is regarding pairing of teas. So she's saying that Purvaja Raman Hai. So she's saying particular food items and condiments are paired with wines. What can we usually pair with teas?
So light flavored teas with light flavored dishes. Okay. Strong flavored teas like will go with your roasts and your heavy spicy food.
Right.
So your smoky teas, your oolong,
teas.
Yeah,
Dark teas.
goes with heavy rich food. Okay, and because other the flavor of the food is going to kill. If your flavor of the dish is very spicy, you're just not going to taste the subtle flavor of a light tea.
Yeah.
So a light tea with light food and light dishes, stronger teas with stronger dishes.
So are you saying that the stronger tea is going to wash down the oily, heavy food that you're having? That helps. Okay.
Helps.
And also you're saying that light tea, when it's green, let's say green tea or white tea is a light tea, right?
Yes.
So you're suggesting that to be used for, let's say, a salad or a fish or a chicken dish,
Right.
which is of course like made more lightly. So
like you have your green tea desserts even.
right.
They make desserts with matcha.
Right.
You have what's the other thing that they do? Like your lemon and honey and all that. The honey also overpowers flavors.
Correct.
So don't overdo the honey.
Right.
So it's just getting the right balance of an ingredient to pair with the tea or to cook it with the tea. Things like
Okay.
that.
Great. I will, I think before I conclude this part, there is a slide we have about the myths people have, misconceptions that need to be debunked, that need to be busted. So we have a few myths here to write true or false. There are certain things are true, certain things are false. There are about 10 or 12 of myths. Let's see who can get the correct answer. You'll get a loud applause from all of us, and if not a prize. So I wish there was a number there. I think I had put a number, Mr. Dheeraj, but okay, that's fine. We can already see. So we have the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here first. So number 1 is green teas has no caffeine. Please, can you put in the box, is it true or false? Green tea has no caffeine. Yes, correct. We've got the right answer. It is false. It has less caffeine than black tea, but it does have. Yeah. All herbal teas are caffeine free and are true teas. All herbal teas are caffeine free and are true teas. Taran, can you monitor who's giving the maximum right answers? If you can, somebody can. I am also actually looking. Okay, so yes, I've got Karsten has given me the right answer, and also yes, Radhika, Abhishek, Madhusudan. Great, thank you so much. That's correct. It is not. They are not true teas. They are tisanes. They are 90% caffeine free, but there are a couple of them like yerba mate, and there's one more South American tea which has a lot of caffeine in it. Right. Okay. The astringency in green tea has nothing to do with the temperature of water. Purvaja, you said.
Aman, we need to move a little fast. It's
Okay.
5:30. Yeah.
Okay, let's just cover the 6. Purvaja, no, that the answer is not true. It is false because the astringency does have something to do with the temperature of water also, because when the green tea is not supposed to be in boiling water. The bitterness and astringency becomes more when you put it in boiling water. That's one of the reasons, apart from the origin of teas and the processing of teas. So it does have something to do with the temperature of water. So it is false, correct? Yeah. So tea bags are the most premium offering of a company. So tea bags are the most. Yes, Vandana is right. Karsten is right. Thank you so much. Black teas, white teas, green teas, and oolongs all come from different plants in a region. Yes, we've got a lot of falses here. Wonderful. People have really become well informed. And last one, orange pico loose leaf tea is a black tea with a zesty orange lemon flavor. Right. Thank you so much. We do have more myths, but we'll be covering that in the masterclass. Can you remove the slide, Mr. Dheeraj? Mr. Dheeraj, can you remove the slide? Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us, and I will give it on to Taran now for the sponsor. Yeah.
Thank you, Aman.
I hope you enjoyed the session. Any questions, please get back to HHC. Yeah.
Thank you, Aman. Thanks, our panel speakers, for so much of enlightenment. Before taking much time, I would now give the stage to Alok. Alok is the owner of a company which is called Gems Innovation, and it is a beautiful concept. He designs your homes, your establishments, your hotels, your offices with gemstones. He's one of the very few exporters. He imports it in India, and he exports a lot of stuff to the other parts of the world also by creating it here. So over to you, Alok.
Thank you, Taran. Thank you, everyone. It is really a great session to know about the teas and all, because I'm not a tea lover, but today I come to know it's a lot of things to know about the tea. The people are making the cocktail and a lot of things about the tea. It's a really great session. So today I'll tell about myself. I'm Alok, and my company is Gems Innovation. And this is my second venture of my business life. And under this banner, we make the products out of the semi-precious stones. We do the interiors by semi-precious stones. So I'll let you know what is the semi-precious stone actually. Semi-precious stone is that stone which is less than diamond and more than marble and granite. So today I'll tell you what kind of raw material, what kind of semi-precious we use to make our product. So these are the raw materials, which is called amethyst. Amethyst is one of the mineral stones under the semi-precious stone, which comes from the Africa. Then we have a turquoise, which comes from Afghanistan. And then we have a beautiful stone, which is called agate, which is come from the Brazil. And lapis lazuli, malachite, lots of semi-precious stones we use to make our product. We have another category, which is also comes under the semi-precious stone, which called mother of pearl. So we use black mother of pearl, which is only found in Pacific Ocean. And this is one of the beautiful stone shells we get from there. So we have a abalone shell also, which get from the New Zealand. So today we showcase you some product which we make out of these stones. So you can see these lapis lazuli. We have done this project in Dubai. You can see here we have made like tabletops, chairs, console, and boxes, and many more things. Then we have some more things you can see in agate. These are the agates which we have made for some for a few hoteliers in India. These are the bar counters, center table, and counters and all. So now then we have another is pink. You know, the pink and purple combination that is called rose quartz and amethyst. This is a wonderful fusion for natural stones, very beautiful stone. Then we have a stone that is called melagite. Melagite is one of the most expensive stone in semi-precious category. So this is a green color, very beautiful. And then we have one more stone that is called petrified wood. The beauty of this stone is it looks like wooden, but it is a stone. So it's a very beautiful stones, and we get this stone from the Africa. Only in Africa we can find this stone. Another one is tiger eye. As the name is tiger eye, it looks like an eye of tiger. So it is also a stone, and we get it from the Africa. Then we have a mother of pearl. We have a multi-of variety in a mother of pearl. So I'll show you some more product which we have done it. Like you can see, it's a bar counter and a black agate and blue agates and natural agate and all. Then we have another one which is wall panel, wall highlighters, which is made by the Brazilian agate. We have done this project for one of the Dubai hotel. This is also a project which we have done for the wall highlighters in Dubai. And then another we have, you can see the TV panel, which is made by black agate. And we have a more stones, you can see this, which is also used for wall paneling and all. We do more things by semi-precious stone, like we make the wash basin, we make the bathtub and platters also. So these are the wash basins and platters. Then we have this mother of pearl. We do the inlay of the mother of pearl. You can see these. You can see that these are the handcrafted inlay, which is done by our craftsmen. And the color which you can see that this is not a color. This is done by a semi-precious stones, right? You can see how our craftsmen do. They are very skillful and they do by their hands. So you can see this how these people are doing. We do small things also, like we make jewelry boxes. We make tissue holders. We make trays. We make multiple of small things out of this semi-precious stone. So the tea lovers can gift their beloveds to put this stone. For their packings and all, so they can use it. Thank you everyone. If you have any questions and all, you can contact me. This is my contact detail. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Alokji, we would also request you if you can drop your contact info in the chat box, so that whosoever wants to place the order for the tea coaster would actually reach you for the tea coasters.
Perfect, sir. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you so much. It was very informative, especially your knowledge, which you gave us about the stones. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
very,
much.
very artistic work which you do. Thanks a lot. So now we come to the close of the session. I'm sorry we've taken 9 minutes as above the promise. We just wanted to invite you for a masterclass on tea, which is happening on Saturday and Sunday, 22nd August and 23rd August. We will be soon sending the information regarding this. So we would like to now sum up. And once again, I would like to thank our panel speakers, Rekha ji, Chef Swami and Amit, to have spent a lot of time with us discussing and bringing this episode forward. We thank you a lot. In fact, you've actually spent a lot of time, because discussion points also took a lot of time. So I think your valued time is really appreciated, because this episode has come out very, full of information, and it was very, very charged kind of episode. A lot of myths were broken, and we head towards our masterclass now in the coming week. And thank you, Aman, to put it together. This was really a very, very different session which we brought together under the banner HHC. We've been only talking about topics which have been irritating and of concern to our hoteliers, but this has been a little de-stressing and offbeat. So thank you so much for bringing a powerful session forward. And we look forward to seeing you all. Thanks each one of you, all the participants who have spent a lot of time with us today. Thanks a lot. And thanks to our brand station partner, Alok, for being here and giving a presentation about yourself. Thanks so much. For any membership benefits, you can call us. We are available, or you can send us an email as well.
Thanks everyone for a wonderful session. Thank you Taranji and Ashish for really organizing it well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone. Thank you, Taran. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.